Hey guys, it's Tanya, and I am coming in for an update for my keto. I'm calling March my experiment month because I made a bunch of little changes in March just to try and tweak things. Um, for a few months, I can't remember when I started, a few months ago, I took the suggestion of somebody who promoted a little bit higher protein and a little bit lower fat. And I had been doing that for a while, but I couldn't make myself lose again. And not necessarily that I really wanted to lose a lot, but I always feel like when you tweak something, you should be able to make yourself lose whether you need to or not. And I couldn't quite do that. And so at that time, I was still doing my less than 20 grams of fat a day. And I was trying to make my grams of protein and my grams of fat equal. So around 100 grams of each. And while I didn't gain anything, I kind of still floated between 174 and 177, and I couldn't really get below 174 again. So I decided to go back to what I was doing in the first few months of doing keto, which was a higher fat and a little bit more moderate protein, still keeping my carbs low. But another person that I know had suggested maybe bump my carbs are usually less than 15. And she had suggested bumping them up between 20 and 25. So not like a really big drastic change, but you know, a little bit of a boost. So the month of March, these are the changes I made. One, I cut out dairy. That's mainly because, if you follow me, I have psoriatic arthritis. And dairy has been known to be inflammatory for people with various conditions, arthritis being one of them. And while I love cheese and dairy and heavy cream in my coffee and cream cheese, I decided to bite the bullet. And this is like my third time trying it. It's not easy to cut out dairy when you eat it so often. So I made that change. I decided to bring my protein down from 100 to in between anywhere from 75 to 90. I kind of floated. And then bring my fat always over 100, usually like 115, 120, 125 grams, somewhere around there. I did still eat butter, even though that is dairy, but it was pretty much in moderation. I cook a lot more with bacon grease, bacon drippings, because I like the flavor a lot better. So even like my eggs, I cook them in that. But the butter I use moderately. But that was the only dairy I had. I had one little slip up. I think it might have been in the first or second week where I had a almond flour biscuit in the freezer, and I was eating that, and like halfway through I remembered that when I made those, you use like a half a cup of cheddar cheese in the recipe, but it was like a half a cup for 4 biscuits. So it was a little bit, it was totally just not thinking, and I did that, but I don't think that really messed me up so much. Something else I changed, I have been doing intermittent fasting. I know I've talked about that in previous videos. I decided to not do that as much anymore. I naturally intermittent fast on the weekends just because on Saturdays I have my morning step class, and I like to do that fasted. I just feel like lighter and like I have a little bit more energy. And then I don't like to eat as soon as I get home from that workout. So I usually do about at least a 15-hour fast on like from Friday night to Saturday's first meal. And then Sunday I usually sleep in a little bit, so I usually skip breakfast that day just because of the timing of meals. But other than that, I decided to make myself eat a little bit of breakfast at work, which was normally like an egg and bacon or an egg and a piece of sausage. And I would usually do that around 10 o'clock. And I get up in the morning about 5:45, so I don't have lunch on breakfast until like a bit of a delayed time. Also, to try and get the fats in, I wasn't sure how I was going to do that with not having any heavy cream in my coffee, even though, I've been drinking black coffee for a while now. That was when I had the lower fat. So I decided to try putting a tablespoon of coconut oil in my coffee, which sounded really gross to me, but it actually is pretty good, and it tastes like kind of like a Hawaiian feel to the coffee. So I've been doing that, either a tablespoon or a half a tablespoon of coconut oil in my first coffee, and in my other coffees I'll just have with Truvia, and I do put Truvia in my first coffee as well. But that's just to kind of get the fats in my system and get that going first thing. So, I'm sorry, I took some notes so I don't forget anything. Right. Okay, so my calories, I also made a point to keep my calories at least 1,500 a day. And so around 20 carbs, around 85 protein, around 115 fat. You know, these are goals. It's not like I hit that exact number every day but I always made sure my fat was higher than my protein. And my carbs would have been between 15 and 25 net. I always do net carbs. Trying to do very minimal processed foods, so more whole foods, lots of veggies and meats. And I do eat deli meats maybe once a day. Like it's usually with my lunch, some kind of salad, but that's about the closest thing as I'm getting to processed food right now. So what are the results? When I started, I was floating between 174, 176, something like that, up and down those 3 pounds. By the end of this March experiment, I was floating between 169, 172, somewhere in there. So the pounds came off, a few pounds, so that was really nice. But there's other things that I noticed. Ever since I had my tummy tuck, I always swell. My stomach will swell by the end of the day. Sometimes even when I get up in the morning, it's puffy. Kind of hard to explain why. But since doing the dairy-free, I noticed that's happening a lot less frequently. And when it's puffy, it's a lot less puffy. So I don't know if that was inflammation. I don't know. But that was an observation. Also, if you followed me for any time, you know I have swelling in my feet and ankles a lot. Before starting keto, I took hydrochlorothiazine almost every single day. Sorry. To help with fluid retention. About 2 months after being on keto, I had to stop taking it because my blood pressure was dropping drastically because of electrolyte imbalance. It was depleting me of my sodium, because on keto you have to have about 4,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium every day, otherwise your electrolytes get out of whack. So I had only been taking that periodically. Now I'm not taking it at all, and I have very little puffiness in my feet and ankles, to the point where people have noticed that I'm not retaining fluid like I was in my feet and ankles. So that's awesome. Another thing is I had been getting lots of ankle, like Achilles tendon pain when I do my step aerobics class, to the point where my doctor had recommended that I stop doing step aerobics, and I didn't listen because I love it. I was just dealing with the pain, putting ice on my ankles like 2, maybe 3 times a day. And since I've been dairy free, I don't think I've done the ice at all. I just don't have the pain that I had prior to that. So that does make it seem like that dairy was causing inflammation or contributing to the inflammation. I'm not saying I'm completely pain-free, but it doesn't ache like it did, and I don't hurt so bad when I get up in the morning walking, like when I first put my feet on the ground. So that's a huge improvement. So overall, I'm very happy with it. On Saturday, that was April 1st, it was my first day not having to be dairy-free. So I had heavy whipping cream and a couple of coffees. Just in the month of April, I'm only going to add in heavy whipping cream, because I don't want to confuse anything and try and figure out what I can tolerate, what I can't tolerate. I can say my schedule this weekend's been kind of out of whack. I ate at different times than what I normally do. I ate very late on Friday night and Saturday night because of things we had going on with my kids. But I did add in that heavy whipping cream on Saturday, only on Saturday, not yesterday. Today's Monday. And my weight is up about, I don't know, 2 pounds. So I don't know if it's because my eating timing was off or of the heavy cream. So I've gone back. I'm only going to do heavy cream in my coffee, maybe 1 or 2 times a week. We'll see how this month goes. I'm still going to do only doing the intermittent fasting on the weekends, just as a natural thing, unless something happens during the week and I don't eat. But I don't have the hunger, so I can go without eating. It's more of a conscious point to do now. So I was going to do a dairy-free video on what I ate dairy-free, and I started to do one about a week and a half ago, and on that day that I was doing my full day of eating, our dog passed away. So I did not want those memories out there of that day, and I did not have it in me to finish out the day, so I abandoned that video. I do have a lot of pictures I'm going to put in at the end of this video of foods that I've eaten over the last month, just so Lauren Dayton had asked, you know, what do you eat when you're dairy free? So lots of yummy food, lots and lots of yummy food. The only time I really miss cheese is like in taco salads. I like cheese in that, but figured it out. Oh, the other thing I've done this month too is I'm trying to cut out the bad oils like soybean oil and canola oil, things like that. And the most of salad dressings and mayonnaise are made with that. So I'm making my own mayonnaise and my own salad dressings. I did have some store-bought ones a couple of times, but the vast majority of the time is my own homemade recipes. And so I'm going to include that in the video as well. So yeah, overall, I'm very, very pleased with the going dairy free and the little changes I made. I do believe that for women, I don't know about for men, but for women, I think lower protein, like more moderate protein, not low, but lower, moderate. I wouldn't go below like 60 or 70 grams a day. And higher fat, over 100 grams a day, works better with keto. It's better for your hormones. It's better for just overall how you feel and weight loss. So that is my recommendation. I've mentioned it before, but I am an administrator for the Adapting to Keto Facebook group. We have over 40,000 members now, and it's growing every single day. If you'd like to be added, let me know and I'll get you added to the group, or go ahead and just request it and let me know that you requested it and I'll add you. It's really useful. Our pinned post has tons and tons of information, and if you need help with getting started on keto and what kind of calorie limit you should have and macros, let me know and I can help with that, okay? Y'all go out this week. Have a fabulous week. Go out and make it happen.